What were some of the benefits you felt in the consulting space? What's the benefit of getting the work there, but also what are maybe some of the drawbacks associated with that for you and for a company?
Yeah. So I think as an individual, I think people conflate experience and tenure often. And so you can punch a clock, do the same thing over and over again, and be a person who has 20 years of experience on a resume. But you could be somebody who worked in consulting, in venture capital, and private equity, any of these businesses where you are exposed to a lot of different businesses, stakeholders, problems, and how to solve those problems. And in a short period of time, gain years worth of experience in months. And so I think for any individual who is especially starting their career and trying to figure out what it is they want to do and how to solve a variety of business problems quickly, consulting or the other industries that I mentioned provides a great avenue for that, because you're able to accelerate your experience very quickly and have exposure to parts of the business that you otherwise wouldn't have exposure to. A lot of time, the buyers of consulting are not usually managers or individual contributors. It's usually the C-suite, VPs, heads of X. And so immediately you're in rooms with people having conversations that if you were just an analyst for that company or project manager or product manager, you probably wouldn't be having those high-level strategy discussions. And so I think that experience is invaluable. The first consulting company or the first client that I had in consulting, I was meeting with the COO and the CEO every single day. And I was on that project for a year and a half. I grew from individual contributor to manager on that project. And so having that experience truly, like I was 24 years old managing people who were late into their career, people who had been chief information officers before, heads of whatever before, like I was managing those people. And it was a crazy experience and a very humbling experience for me to be in, but I wouldn't have had that if I would have just gone to work on the industry side to start. And so for me, that was the biggest benefit from an individual perspective on consulting. From a company perspective, if you have good requirements in what you want, and we talked about this before, people who are there to maintain what it is that you build after you leave, then consulting makes sense. Also, if it's like an implementation or a project that needs a little bit of maintenance afterwards, but won't necessarily need version 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 afterwards and continued implementation or continued work. So if you just need something that's done in a short period of time and you want people to come in who have that expertise to build it, but then again, you have that maintenance afterwards, then I think consulting makes great sense for companies. The problem that I see a lot of companies fall into is they think consulting or the people for consulting are going to come in and be the Band-Aid or the solution that's going to fix everything, but really it's just a Band-Aid for a couple of months. You come in, you do a project for 3, 4, 5 months, and then after you leave, it creates this almost like black hole project void that sucks everything into it because you've left, and now after you've left, no one's there to pick it up. It falls by the wayside, and at that point, whatever you built, whether it was data model, data visualization tool, it could be a simple Excel report. If nobody's using it on a day-to-day perspective, the schema might drift, the schema might change, the data that's underlying might change, the connection string to the database might change. All of those things might change. That thing is not maintained or updated with it. And so now you basically have this branch of features that has gone 3 months ahead while this other thing is lagged behind. Well, now when I want to use that tool again, I don't know how to, it's broken. And now I either need to call Ken back to come fix it, or I'm mad at Ken because Ken didn't provide the proper documentation to have my team build that or maintain it afterwards. So now I'm going to go to another consulting firm, have them build the new tool, blah, blah, blah. And it's this vicious cycle of people either getting burned by themselves by not having the right people maintain it, or potentially I've played cleanup where consulting companies don't do great transitions and don't do great knowledge transfer. And then you have to come in and clean up, but then everybody's mad at consultants in general, not just this consulting company.